Many people experience major events in their lives that once they happen, they never look at life the same. Well, for me, it was a series of events that caused my perception to change forever. Never would I have guessed in a million years that something which started out as a secret that I, along with another, tried to keep from the world would be the secret that revealed an even greater secret to me. It was all due to a chain of events that shaped what I've come to understand now has to be true. I've never been one to sit and stare at the sky in amazement or marvel at nature. It was, however, in the winter of 2009, this all changed. It's funny how a different angle of the same things you've been looking at all your life can change how you see the same things you've been looking at your entire life. With this change, more change followed, which allowed me to share an experience that's brought the two of us together. To me, these events were extraordinary, and thank you for allowing me to share it through these words. Whenever you notice divine timing with the circumstances regarding your life, I want you all to ask yourself this simple question: who else could it be but God?
Peace to everybody. Greetings and salutations. Thank you for joining us back for another amazing episode of the No Script Podcast. I, of course, am your host of the show and the creator, Kier Scott, here to bring you another amazing episode. Thank you to everybody who's been tuning in so far. If you are new to the channel, feel free to hit that subscribe button and the bell for notifications for when the new episodes do arrive. Thank you for being a part of the No Script Podcast community. Today, I have another great guest joining us. This brother is, he's a pure soul, as I would like to call him. He's like a mentor or like a big brother or uncle to me. I look at him like as like a spiritual advisor or a wordsmith. His name is Clayton Jones. He is a publisher and author of going on the second book now. He's from Baltimore City. Shout out to Baltimore. His first book is called Who Else Could It Be But God, which is like a memoir to his life story. And the second book is called Trauma, My Love Letter to the World. That book will be out shortly. We'll be going into a little bit of details on when that book will be finished and available for you all to read. In the meantime, go check out that first book. Again, Who Else Could It Be But God, which is his story. And I'm excited to have him explain his story, go over a bit about the book and his experiences. I thank you guys for continuing to rock with us every single episode. We will be back shortly. All right, all right. We are here. What's going on, good brother? How you doing?
Man, I'm swell, bro. Even better now. You know what I'm saying? Feeling your vibe, son. Feeling your vibe. Yeah,
Much appreciated, man. I know we were
yeah,
talking previously. We had everything set up, had a
yeah.
couple of complications and everything. How you feeling? You feeling better?
Yeah, I feel great, man. Thanks for asking too. That means a lot. Like that goes a long way, man. People, checking, especially in this climate. So I really appreciate you asking me that. I think I found the root of the problem, and I think it has something to do with my environment. So I've been managing, but I'm getting ready to transition up out of here and put myself in a better environment. So, all that can be behind me, man. But I can't, yeah, I felt bad because I kept having, I had to push it back. And I,
Yeah.
I wanted you to have the best of me. You know what I'm saying? Just, because
Listen,
of
man.
our connection, bro. For real.
Man, as special as you are, man, 50% of you is the best, man. You feel what I'm saying, man? I
No,
know
we
this
not
is the
we not gonna do that, bro. We not gonna do that. No, not
yo.
at all. Yeah, I
So,
appreciate it.
of
Hmm.
course, man. One of the first things I always like to ask my guests, because of the climate that we in, like you said, the appreciation for making sure you're good is how is your mental space and how are you doing in the climate of COVID and everything going on right now, man? How are you doing? How's the family doing?
The family's doing great. Both sides of my family. I have to include my dad and my mom, but my mother's side, man, we have a lot of professional people that's in the health field. I got a brother that's a first responder. Actually, he's not out in the field anymore. He's chief of staff, but he deals with he's been dealing with the climate hands on. So they're
Okay.
real strong. My family real strong, real disciplined, and they kind of like, follow guidelines and stuff like that. So they doing real well in it and making
Hmm.
the best of it. Actually, they utilizing platforms like this to still have family gatherings and things like that. So they
Okay.
holding up good. My daughter's she's thriving in it. I'm so proud of her. She was able to thrive in this climate, because she's her own boss. She has her own business. She's an entrepreneur. Shout out to the Monet brand. But
Shout out for sure.
yeah, she did real well in it. Everybody's doing well. Myself, I had the beautiful book, the memoir that kept me occupied,
Hmm.
throughout the whole process. Um, Also, my mind state is I have a different understanding, and I view the climate a little different than most people.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I'm not really consumed, in the whole narrative and actually the virus. And I don't really let it penetrate me too often, too much. So it didn't really
Mm,
affect me. My lifestyle didn't change much because,
okay.
I'm a guy that, like I said, I spend a lot of time, writing, being creative. I'm a bachelor. I've been living alone for a long time, bro. So,
Understood.
the only thing that kind of changed, I go to the gym every day. So that changed for a period, but
Okay.
I found refuge in doing things outside and finding ways to still get my exercise in and stuff like that. So I had a great year. To be honest with you,
Hmm.
2020 brought me some beautiful blessings, because
Mm,
I've discovered, I don't know where you are in terms of your spiritual beliefs. I know
mhm.
you're a real spiritual cat because I
Mhm.
know how creative you are.
Got
And
you.
one thing I know for sure is a person that's creative is very spiritual, if that makes sense.
Okay. I
That
get the
makes
vibe. I see
sense
what
to
you're
you?
saying. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I know you're real spiritual, but I don't know, the lens you see things through, the level of your consciousness. But I've come to understand some things. And then when Corona hit and the pandemic hit, it pushed me further in. I went in even more. And
Okay.
whenever you surrender to your inner self and you dive in like that, you get even more enlightenment. So,
I like that.
with
Okay.
yeah, so with that enlightenment came some great confidence and less fear and a greater understanding of what's going on, what I believe is going on. So it didn't affect me at all until December, because
Okay.
when I finished up the book and I stopped meeting with people, of course, I have my own podcast. So when I stopped meeting with guests to do my podcast, I had to sit idle for a little while, and
Yep.
that's when it started hitting me. Just the
Mm,
last month of 2020, December, the holiday season, it hit me. But
for
for the
okay.
most part, I was thriving in it. Yeah. How about yourself, though, man?
Man, I was gonna say before I get into myself, I was gonna say I do see a lot of the guests telling me how much positivity this time has brought them, not as far as like the outcome of COVID, but the things that they've been able to overcome or achieve. I feel like for me,
Mm-hmm.
2020 and the COVID time has
Mm-hmm.
it has helped me to sit down for a moment. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
like myself and like probably all of us, we were so fast paced all the time, and
Mm-hmm.
we have this thought process. It's like if I had more time to do this, if I had
Yeah.
more time to sit with myself, this is what I'd be doing. And I feel like a lot of it, when we get that time, we don't take advantage of it. I wanted to make sure I was able to take advantage of it, doing things like this, what I'm doing right now, and
Absolutely.
just
Yeah.
reading more, like being more on myself, trying to work out more. You know what I mean? Get
Yeah.
to
Absolutely.
different breathing exercises and just bettering
It's
myself
powerful.
moving forward. Yeah,
Yeah,
for
that's
sure.
powerful.
I'm 30 going on 31. I feel like I'm not getting any younger, but I'm gonna continue to get better. So the
Yeah,
only way to get better is to, you know what I mean, use the tools and sharpen the tools I have to
absolutely.
do so. So
My
that's
man.
my goal right now. Now and
My
moving
man.
forward, man. It's getting
Hey,
better.
that's what's up. And congratulations in starting this and launching this, man. It's a big deal. Trust me.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I
Anything
appreciate
creative,
it.
anything we have ownership over. I know the platforms that we're using, it belongs to someone else, but it's a step toward, that independence, man. That's dope. And I applaud that. Real talk, bro.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I definitely appreciate it. Thank you.
yeah,
It's been a thought for some time now. I figured what
yeah,
better time than now? Everybody's sitting in the house for the most part.
yeah,
Take advantage of it. So that's what we're here
yes,
doing, man.
yeah.
So I want to get into a little bit of your story. I know you are from North Baltimore. Tell me a little bit about, am I wrong? Not North Baltimore?
I'm from Baltimore, period. I've been in every section of the city, son.
I ain't trying to
Charm
narrow
City.
I ain't trying to narrow you in, man.
No, I'm just messing with you. But no, really, yeah, yeah. I was born in Northeast
Okay.
Baltimore.
Okay.
Yeah, but like I said, I'm every neighborhood almost, man. I touched everything, and shout out to all my neighborhoods. Sandtown, I'm sure a lot of people familiar with Sandtown. That's the area where the CVS burned during the Freddie
Mm,
Gray riots. I lived there.
yeah.
I could walk to that CVS. It used to be a different
Wow.
store when I lived there, Penn Station, all this. So I lived in the Pennsylvania Avenue area. You know, the whole area that was highlighted by the wire. I lived on
Yep.
Old York Road, Wilson Park area. That's really my roots, Wilson Park.
Okay.
I
Okay.
lived in Dutch Village area, Northern Village. I lived in Hamilton area.
Mm.
Yeah, I've been all over the city,
You've been
man.
all
So
around. You moved all around the
yeah,
city of
yeah,
Baltimore.
yeah. So yeah, I'm just from Baltimore, period, flat. That's it.
That's
Yeah,
that's the root. I definitely respect
yeah,
it. Tell me
yeah.
about a little bit about that as far as being born and raised there in the 70s, about that climate and that time frame.
69,
69.
69.
So I was
I was
raised in the 70s. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's real. Yeah, right on the heels, right coming off the heels of the civil rights thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm too young to really be conscious of that.
Mm-hmm.
But let me tell you something, man. Living in the 70s, the vibe, it was beautiful. It was really beautiful. And I kind of feel like we hit it back toward that as a
Okay.
community. But we played all day in the summer times. We left our doors open. You
Okay,
didn't
man.
have to lock your doors.
Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up around my family. And one thing about my family is beautiful, man, is that my mom and all her sisters and brothers, they lived within walking distance of each other. So I
Mm.
come up, I was the youngest of three children with my mom, but I had my cousins. I had so many cousins around me that I felt like I had a whole host of brothers and sisters. That's how we
Yeah.
came up. And we did everything together. So, I was a fast kid trying to keep up with my older brother, man. I started riding a 10-speed bike at 5 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was chasing after my brother. I was real
Yeah.
fast. I was always quick. Walk on my hands. I used to entertain them, man. I even at one point I was even trying to be little Michael Jackson, man. But
Doing the moonwalk out here in these streets,
yeah,
huh?
no, not the moonwalk. It was before the moonwalk. It was before Motown 25. It was
Okay.
it was when he was little and his brothers. We used to put
Mm.
on little shows in the living room, man, for my mother. But it was like I said, it was a beautiful time. Everybody knew each other in the neighborhoods. So
Mm.
my mother felt comfortable. I could walk up to the wreck. We had a wreck up to the top on Oyo Road, Mullins Wreck. All the older guys looked out for you. We
Mm.
fought, we fist fought, wasn't no gunplay. You got your ass whipped. That's what it was, but it was
Gotcha.
love. You know what I'm saying? So beautiful time. The 70s was a beautiful time. We was carefree. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Can I say anything on this
You can say
podcast? Or
whatever
am I
you want,
restricted?
man. It's not for children.
Let me,
This is a
yeah,
adult platform. Say whatever
yeah.
you feel.
Well, that was a time in the 70s. Like I wasn't, I wasn't able to shoot sperm at that point, but
Hmm.
dealing with girls, you could fuck with no rubbers. It was I'm serious. Like the
Yeah, 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 yeah.
70s was beautiful, man. It was parties. It was house parties, red lights, slow dancing, good
Mm.
music. Man, yeah, that was the best, man. And yeah, up until the 80s, man, early 80s, mid 80s, that's when the
Yeah.
gunplay came in. But yeah, Baltimore, man, it was serious. As I got to be a teenager, man, the gunplay
Hmm.
came in, the influx of guns, and
Hmm.
people, egos really started driving us because motherfuckers didn't want to get their ass whipped. So now it's
Yep.
like the beef ain't never over. Gotta retaliate.
Yeah.
I remember when we started getting we in Baltimore, what was big was the puff levers. They was
Okay.
big. Puff
Okay.
levers was big. Lambskins was big. Jean jackets was big, and niggas was sticking you for them. People
Mm,
was getting shot over them. So yeah, that was the 80s. Just seemed like it ushered in this dark period, especially in my neighborhoods. But if I could go back, man, if I could take some of these young people back to the 70s and saw how we lived, man,
yeah.
oh my God, it was love, man. I mean, it really was love,
I was gonna
man.
say, just from you kind of talking about it, I can feel it. Like you said, not
Yeah.
having to lock your doors, the
No.
family living close by. It seemed like
Yep.
a lot of love. That's what I feel
Yep.
like we kind of missing in
Yep.
today's age. It's not really,
Yep.
no matter where you live at, it's not really a community. It's kind of just your home, and whatever is around you is around you. There's not really a family orientation anymore, and
No.
that leads these things, like you said, like the violence and gunplay and things like that. Because
Yeah.
if you look at
Yeah.
somebody like a stranger, that's your neighbor. There's no telling what you'll do to them. You'll steal from them. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Rape them, kill
Mm-hmm.
them. It doesn't matter because you don't look at that person like
Yeah.
family.
Yep.
You
Yep.
know what I
That's
mean?
real. That's real, man. You got everybody's guarded from one another, man. And it's just yeah, I don't even know because I understand being guarded, but like I don't even know how, that it morphed into that. Like it wasn't like it was a switch. It just one day you wake up
Hmm.
and then it's like it's just life is different. And I
Yeah.
and that's what's crazy. I lived in that time, but now I live in this time, and
Yep.
I can't even see how it just all changed. It just
Mm.
did. You know what I mean?
I see what you're saying.
That's kind of like, yeah, when I look back on it, it's like, when did it all change? Why did I know drugs played a
I
major
was gonna
part
say,
in it.
yeah, drugs, money, the
Yeah,
community
yeah,
circumstances, taking away things like the
yeah,
community centers and things like that, where
yeah,
children can
yeah,
grow up and be
yes.
around each other. I think a lot
But
of that
but
changes.
but pin this, we had the rec centers and stuff, and a lot of
Mm.
this violence started at the rec centers.
Oh wow.
Yeah, over like the traditional beefs all of a sudden turned into gun beefs. So I
Mm.
definitely know the influx of guns played a major part in it. But it's just that whole thing. Like when I was young, it was drug dealers, but them cats, you didn't know them. It was a few,
Hmm.
few and far between. Now, one thing about Baltimore, a lot of times, Peanut King, we had a notorious drug kingpin here,
Hmm.
Peanut King, and a lot of people they identify him as ushering in a new era because
Mm.
there were laws that kids certain age wouldn't get tried,
Okay.
for possession and stuff. They would just get
Yep.
juvenile kind of punishment and come back. So he
Hmm.
started putting drugs in the kids and getting them mopeds. It was
Mm.
a big thing that they had mopeds and everything else. So
Wow.
you know what I'm saying with the influx of that drug game, because people getting high and people selling drugs, that's two different animals. And
Yep.
there was always heroin addicts, dope fiends and people that did their thing.
Yep.
But it wasn't like you know, it wasn't killing and all that going on. But it's
Okay.
like when these kids started getting on the corner and territory and fighting over, it just seemed like that shit just escalated, man,
A
and
lot.
just
It
got out of
brought a lot of
control.
turmoil.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can see that, man.
and then it spills over into everyday living
Mm.
because everybody ain't drug dealers, but then
Yep.
this is how we all start dealing with each other
Mm.
because of that influence. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So yeah, it's crazy. But overall, I'm gonna say this too, man. As bad as Baltimore violence is, because year in and year out, if you want to believe statistics, they always
Yep.
talk about how they're one of the most murderous cities, if that's a
Hmm.
word, murderous. And I'm asking if that's a word. And here it is. I done wrote two memoirs, and I
I
still,
believe. I believe murderous is a word. Yeah, for
yeah,
sure. Yeah, I think. Yeah.
I struggle with the English language, bro. You know
Listen, it's
why?
all good.
Because it's foreign to me,
I'm
Jack.
about to say, yeah. Listen, somebody created it,
Yeah,
right?
that's right. But yeah, so we one of the most murderous cities. But even in the midst of all that, this
Hmm.
one of the like I got so much love from this city. I got so much love for the city, and there's so much love in the city. So it's wild how that it's like an oxymoron. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? There's so much violence and killing, but so much love. It's like it's hard to think of a place so murderous that's so beautiful at the same time.
For
Baltimore,
sure, yeah.
beautiful, man. It's
Listen,
beautiful.
I love
Yeah,
Baltimore, man. I come out there every single. I'm not that far
yeah,
from there. I live in York, Pennsylvania now, which
yeah,
is maybe an hour from Baltimore, and I
yeah,
drive out there every single year in the summertime. I go get me some
mm-hmm,
crab. I go chill by the shore. Do you know what I mean? It's a
mm-hmm,
beautiful atmosphere when you're in the city of
mm-hmm.
Baltimore. A lot of
No
beautiful
doubt.
black, brown people walking
Yeah,
around, man. It's a lot of love for sure.
yeah.
I do want to ask one thing I was thinking about. So, out of all the things that you could do, why publish a book? But not only that, but why tell your specific story in that book of publishing? What made you want to do that?
It hit me.
Mm,
It hit me. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I never had any kind of desire. I didn't even know that words had such a way with me.
mm,
Now,
okay.
I'm not gonna say I have a way with words.
Or it got away
The
with you. I
words
like
have a way
that.
with me, and that's some
Mm,
real shit. And I come to understand that during that process. But one day, you know, I'm 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 um I'm fucked up in the head because I lose a dear friend of mine, right?
okay. Uh-huh.
And um and I think you may know the guy, Darnell Lane. Darnell
Darnell.
Lane. Yeah, I used to work with him at BD.
I believe I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
I believe I know who
So
you're talking about.
yeah, he passed away, right? But he passed away abruptly. But for the strangest reason, his death had such a profound impact on me. I don't even know why. Like I knew we were cool, but we didn't
Mm-hmm.
hang together every day.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't, but we would, but you know what he was? He was there for me anytime I needed him. He was that guy on the job that I could go to.
Yep.
This guy was the nicest dude I ever met in my life. Now I come up around hustlers and killers and bullies and I mean good people. I used to hang around them dudes. They
Yep.
raised me up.
Mm-hmm.
And I ain't never met a guy, I'm always on, had my guard. I used to live like I didn't trust you at first. You had to win the trust.
Yep.
This dude had an energy about him, and I wasn't even conscious of energy and vibe or any of that. I wasn't conscious of that. I just knew this dude, it was something about him
Mm-hmm.
that I just trusted him instantly. And he was one of the nicest dude I ever met in my life. Right? So with him, when he passed, I used to always carry this fear of death with me.
Mm-hmm.
It was major,
A lot of us
major.
do, I feel like, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Especially when the 80s came, the 90s came, the gunplay. So afraid of death. Because to me, death resembled eternal darkness. I never got caught up in heaven or hell or anything like that. Just darkness. I was
Okay.
afraid of it. So anyway, I'm carrying this immense fear of death. Darnell passed suddenly, right? I'm struggling to go to the hospital to see him, but I knew I had to. I go and everything. And all of a sudden, when I saw him, it helped me.
Mm.
I was like, because I was expecting this horrific image because he had a stroke or something and he had tubes and stuff. So I just was expecting the worst. You know how we expect the worst. We
Yep.
expect to see this horrific image. So I'm gonna get to the reason why I wrote the book because I didn't have a desire to. But anyway, his death had this profound impact on me. So when he passed, I was struggling with how can I help his family. This man helped me so much. Whenever I needed money, he would give it to me.
Mm-hmm.
And what he used to do was when I first would go to him, he would hesitate and say, oh, I'll see what I can do. And he had me hanging all day, right? And
Yep.
then at the last minute, when I'm thinking, all right, he probably ain't giving it to me, he would pop up and give it to me. And it would like lift the weight off me. So that's how he would do. Now pay attention to this, man. This is the most profound shit.
Yeah.
So I'm struggling. How can I help his family? Because I'm gonna be honest with you, financially, I'm strapped at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
And I knew his family was strapped because him and I talked, and I knew the struggles they had. He was
Yep.
the guy that everybody came to, his sisters and stuff.
Yep.
So I didn't know. So I'm sitting there, right? And then out of the blue, I get a phone call from his sister. His sister didn't know me, but what
Mm-hmm.
she did know is she knew I did business with Darnell and I used to speak in front of the meetings. So
Mm-hmm.
she knew I could speak, but she never saw me. She just knew from being in the business. She would hear me on the telephone conference calls. So they
Yep.
knew me from a distance, but she didn't know me. She said, Clayton, hey, listen, I want to ask you to do me a favor. I want to know if you would speak at Donnell's funeral.
Mm,
I'm putting together a list of people and I want you to come up and say a few words. And I was like crazy nervous because when I did speak in front of the meetings, I used to sweat real heavy
mm.
because I was nervous.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm enlightening you on why I was sweating.
Yep.
This was another thing that got revealed during the whole process. So anyway, I said, listen, Zelda, I don't know if I want to do this because I don't want to mess Donnell's homegoing service up. Like, this dude mean the world to me. And the
Mhm.
last thing I want to do is be the guy stand up and say something and I mess it up. She
Got you.
said, you can't mess it up. Just say exactly what you said to me in the hospital. Just how many seconds we get? 30 seconds or something. It wasn't,
Mhm.
no, 3 minutes, 3 minutes each. Wasn't no long time. I said,
Got
all
you.
right. I said, you know what? I can't say no because of Donnell. I just
I
can't.
respect it. Yeah,
So
for
we get
sure.
off,
Yeah.
so we get off the phone, right? And I'm sitting in my shop. Guess what happened?
What's that?
Clear as I'm looking at you, bro, right now through the screen,
Hmm.
I saw Donnell laughing at me. Real talk.
Damn.
And the reason he was laughing at me because before he passed, he was trying to get me to come back and do business again. He wanted me back in
Mm,
front doing the meetings and stuff because he thought I was good doing that.
okay.
Started laughing at me. So I said, wow, that's crazy because I could feel it and see it,
Yeah.
with the third eye. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
I could see it. So I said, wow. So I told a friend, a coworker, I said, man, guess what? Donnell was smiling at me. So anyway, next day come, they go to the viewing. The person
Mhm.
I told Donnell was smiling at me, that person called me from the viewing because I was stuck at work. I couldn't go. She called me from the viewing and said, guess what's going on right now? Guess what your boy doing right now? She said, what? She
Mm,
said, it looked like he got a smile on his face. So
mm,
I'm tripping, right?
yeah.
I'm tripping, you know. But see, this is how I'm processing. And of course, they probably tried to make his face up and make things best they can. I get it.
Exactly. Yeah, for
But
sure.
at that moment I was in,
Yep.
it was meant for me to process it in that
Emotional
way.
connection. Yep.
Right. So I was really going crazy. So anyway, I go to the funeral. I get up and talk. I don't even know what I said. One thing I know is I wasn't sweating. And when I got finished talking, people couldn't stop talking about what I said. To this
Mm,
day, I don't know what I said. But one thing I knew, it just came from the heart. This dude
mm,
it was easy for me to talk about. So
yeah.
then with that, I had the revelation. Right from that moment, I realized why I used to sweat all the time during the meeting because I didn't believe in the shit I was promoting.
Mm. Oh, wow.
You feel me?
Hell yeah. That's
I didn't
crazy.
believe in it, but I believed in him. And I knew what was in my heart. So it was easy. No sweating, no nervousness. I ain't
Mm,
believe in that shit. I realized I'm no salesman. You understand what I mean? I
I
can
feel you.
talk, but I'm no salesman. So anyway, long story short, after he passed, I had another friend. And he was my best friend, Ronald. They died a week apart.
Oh,
Now,
wow.
let me say this to you. Back up when I saw Donnell laughing, the first thing that hit me was, we don't die. So with that experience, Darnell relieved me. He helped me with my fear of death. So as
Okay.
much as he used to help me when he was here, he
He
helped
helps
me
you
when
even
he
after.
left with a
Wow.
major hurdle. I was afraid of death. I was no longer afraid of death. Man, I had this peace over me for days that I can't describe. But I knew we didn't die. So from there, my friend died next, a week later.
Mm,
But he didn't, but I was high like I was on a cloud. But
yep.
when Ronald passed, I dropped low again because when he died, him and I wasn't speaking. We
Understood.
right, and I couldn't fix it. So
There's
I
no
felt
closure.
low
Yeah.
and no closure, and I felt empty. So that's when I started searching for something. And when I started searching for was a picture of my son on the internet. I hadn't seen my son in 20 years.
Wow.
So they sent me searching. So anyway, I reached out. I mean, I looked for my son, my daughter, and my daughter mother made this whole reunion happen between him and I. And I didn't want to meet him. I just wanted to look at his picture. But anyway, I looked at his picture.
Hmm.
4 days later, I'm standing right in front of him, meeting him for the first time in 20 years.
Oh wow.
Dog, we spent that weekend together. After that weekend, I'm sitting in my second room in my crib, window open, breeze come through. And here again, with my third eye, my understanding, this shit hit me. I said, damn, God is real. I said it just like that. Now, the title of my first memoir is Who Else Could It Be But God?
Yeah.
So that's why I got inspired to write, because anytime you get some type of revelation that you feel can take people out of their fear and stress over a certain situation, you want to share it. So I
Yeah.
just got compelled to write those events because they had a
Okay.
profound impact on me. And I wanted people, everybody got their own relationship, right? With their higher self, with the creator,
Yeah.
with God. But I wanted people that if they were struggling in it, to go through my journey and see that God was real. So that's why I did it. That's the only
Hmm.
reason I did it, bro. I had no
Damn,
desire to do it. So
that's
I'm
crazy,
sorry.
man.
I'm sorry I went all the way around
No, no,
to
no.
answer that question,
That's
but
incredible to talk about the kind of almost like the circle of life and how things go, and the
yeah.
journey that's kind of it's destined. You know what I mean? It's planned for us, and you kind of got to realize how you're gonna maneuver around that destiny,
Hmm.
whether you're gonna believe it or you're just gonna let it like brush off. But it's
Yeah.
there. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
It's
It's all
definitely
how you
there.
take it. So a little bit
Yes.
about the backstory what you just said about you and your son of 20 years not speaking. What was the reason
Yeah.
behind that? You mind going in on a little bit?
No,
What was
not
that
at all.
situation?
I would say get the book.
I told all my people to make sure y'all take care of the book. Like, make sure y'all read the
Yeah,
book, man, if y'all have not
but
done so.
yeah, but this is the deal. Like, if anybody interested, find me on Instagram, CRJ underscore author, and I still have a few copies left, and
Okay.
I can send them directly because they're no longer being printed right now. But I'll start
Okay.
reprinting them again. My publisher went out of business a couple years ago, but the book did really well. But anyway, my son and I had him when I was in high school, so and him and myself and his mom, we broke up, and another guy came into the picture, and she tried to raise him. Like after he was 2 years old, I was no longer seeing him no more because I got upset. I was immature because she was trying to raise dude like he was his son, not mine.
Okay.
She gave him his last name, not official, just on the birth certificate. And I mean, not on the birth certificate, just by name.
Yeah.
But so I found myself taking stuff to his grandmother's house, and she come there and get them, but I wasn't seeing them. You know what I mean? And then there was
Understood.
some of fear associated as well. I write about it in the book, like my whole
Hmm.
mindset. It's not all her fault because I
Hmm.
didn't fight either.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So we both was living a lie. We went our separate ways. She was living a lie like this dude was his father, and I
Hmm.
was living a lie moving forward. The people I know, like I didn't have no children, and then my daughter was my only child, but that wasn't
Okay.
true. But the good thing I did, I told my daughter about that she had a brother. I didn't want them to meet,
Mm.
coincidentally and wind
Yep.
up maybe some type of attraction or something because
Yep.
dude is just like me. So she would have been drawn to something there because she would have
Understood.
recognized it, or a possibility. So I
Hmm.
didn't want that to happen. So I told her, and ultimately by me telling her and my daughter mom knowing about it, that wound up being a catalyst for me and him getting linked back after those events happened and me trying to
Hmm.
reach out and stuff. My daughter mom made it happen.
Okay.
Once I told my daughter he was on social media, her mother took over her account, reached out to him, and friended him. They did that
Mm.
and forced that reunion. But yeah, it was just being young, man, and I ran from my responsibility. I was afraid I wasn't gonna be able to raise them. And I'm gonna tell you some real shit. My dreams, her dreams. Sometimes, man, I mean, people can judge me. They can say what they want about me. It's all
Hmm.
good. But sometimes, man, the biggest fear is that you won't be able. to chase your dreams because now you have this responsibility.
Mhm.
His mother wanted to chase her dream. This fairy tale life she had, that's why she was lying to him like we all a happy family. She had her own dreams.
Yep.
Understand what I mean? So the dreams we have and the desires is probably our greatest influences, man. And sometimes they can influence us to do shit, not the right shit, you know,
Yeah.
as it
Damn, man.
pertains to other people in our lives. But go
Yeah,
ahead.
for sure, man. That's definitely deep, man. So when
Yeah.
y'all got that connection back together, did he recognize that recognized you? Did he know that you know what I mean you were out there, or did he think this other guy was his dad?
Truth,
How was it?
you can't suppress the truth. Truth
Yeah.
comes out, bro. He knew when he turned 18. His grandmother finally showed him a picture of me.
Oh wow.
This is what's real wild. My nephew was in the same class with him. He
Oh
wound up going to
wow.
my same high school. Yes. So we were getting close, and she snatched him up out the high school and put him in another high school. Because what
Oh
happened was
wow.
my nephew came home and told my sister, his mother, said, "Mom, this dude in my class looked just like Uncle Clayton. His name Bobby." So my sister said, "Ask him. This is what you say to him. Ask him, does he know who Shanae? Tell him to ask his mother, does she know Shanae and her? Because that was my sister's children. They were my niece
Okay.
and nephew. She knew
Yep.
him. So he went home with that question. She brushed it off. Oh, somebody used to babysit. She lied. So he
Mm,
came back. But this is the thing, and I don't know how. My son had a best friend, this female.
mhm.
The female knew that dude wasn't his father.
Oh wow.
She wound up telling him. But I don't know how she knew, but she knew.
Oh
So
wow.
when he come back to school, he looked at her, my nephew, and said, "What's up, cuz?" Yeah, I know. And they started chopping it up, you know. And
Damn.
then when the information came to me, instead of me running to the high school, because I was
Mm,
afraid to meet him. You know what I was afraid of? Rejection.
okay.
It sounds simple, but it ain't.
Yeah, for sure.
That shit was
Yeah.
major in my psyche. It was
Yep.
major. I ain't want him to reject me. I wrote in the
Mm,
book. I wrote in the book that I thought he was going to be like, had that, I don't give a fuck attitude. Like a lot of these kids,
mm,
like, you ain't my fucking father. You wasn't there. I don't want,
yep.
I thought that energy was going to come my way.
Hmm.
So I didn't run to the school. I did some bullshit. I said, all right, here, give him my phone number. Tell him call me. What the fuck is
Mm,
that? I
mm,
should have went to the school. You know what I
hmm.
mean? So I really didn't want to meet him. I just wanted
Yeah.
to see him. So anyway, we didn't meet because she snatched him out of the school and years went by. He was around 17, 18 then.
Yep.
17 then. He got kicked out the house at 18 because him and the dude finally was at odds. See, that wasn't his
Mm,
child. And
yeah.
guess what? Even though they was lying to him, he knew without
Mm,
knowing because he could
yep.
pick up on it. He knew he felt like an alien in his own house because
Yeah.
they had two other children. Those
Okay.
children got treated different than him.
Mm,
He picked up on the vibe. So anyway, after that, it took about 4 more years, and then we finally our reunion came face to face. And what he did when he met me, he just was like, "What's up?" And I was like, "What's up?" But when I went to his house, he was living with his grandmother. I thought his grandmother was gonna reject me. But when I
mm,
knocked on the door, his grandmother started crying, man. She
mm,
started crying and she hugged me. And that's what I'm saying. This might sound like some of us, we get caught up in our ego and we don't
yeah.
understand shit like that. But I'm going to say this to you. Forgiveness is some powerful shit. Forgiveness has the power to inspire. It has the power to resurrect your life and change your direction and change your steps. That's how
Damn, man.
strong forgiveness is.
I mean, I feel like you preaching to the choir simply because I got a similar story, man, of myself and my dad. It's funny, my older brother reached out to me, and I just happened to be ending a relationship, and I was off social media, and I happened to be signing in to, I think, speak to a friend of mine or something, and I had this message like, "Hey, my name is Tyrone. I think I'm your brother." Da da da. And I ended up
Wow.
finding out that it was that was my brother from my dad, and we ended up reconnecting. Now we don't
Wow.
really speak right now because of both of us, kind of like me, but I think I'm gonna end up reaching back out to him because I do want to rekindle that relationship. And being I'm getting ready to be a father to my
Yeah.
own child, I want to
Congrats.
make sure
Yeah.
that, thank you, I appreciate that lineage is
Yeah.
there, and we
Yeah.
keep it growing. I don't want my children to grow up without knowing who their
Right.
grandparents are. You know what I mean?
That's
I
good.
didn't meet any of my grandparents growing up. I didn't know any of them. Like, they're all gone. Like, they all
Wow.
passed away. So I didn't read any of them exactly. So it kind of just stops at my parents. So I don't want that for my children. So, you know what I
How
mean?
you
That's
feel about that, man?
as far as what part.
Not knowing, never getting a chance. Like,
I always
do that fuck with your psyche at all?
It does a little bit. I kind of feel like I always felt growing up as far as like a disconnection, like I only knew half of myself. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I know me and my mom have a similar kind of personality and attitude, but in a way we are different, if that makes sense. So I'm like, where does my other half come from? What do they look like? What do they act like? When I seen my dad, it was Dan there like looking in the mirror, man. I saw him. I'm like, damn, this dude look a lot like me. It's kind of crazy,
Yeah.
and our personalities are similar. We both fans of like the same team. We both Laker
Yeah.
fans, and I'm like, this is crazy. Yeah, it's
DNA
like,
is serious, bro. DNA is when me and my son sat down and had a long talk that first weekend, we
yep.
both said this simultaneously. We looked at each other and we both said DNA is serious. We said it at the same time. Same time.
Be
Dog,
surprised,
I knew
man.
his thoughts. I knew we were it was crazy. You right about that, bro. You right about that.
Listen,
That's
man.
some man, that's serious, bro.
So for me, just speaking to my dad was some kind of closure, and
Yeah.
so we stayed in connection. But a lot of things, like, you know what I mean, came in a way. It was a lot of distraction in the midst of it. Some of it on my side, some of it on his side. So I do want to, you know what I mean, start that clean slate and have us start
Yeah.
over again and build that
Yeah.
relationship up the right way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So this is it's
Yeah.
kind of crazy just having this
Yeah.
conversation, like you say. Who else could it be but God?
What
With
else
this
could it
conversation,
be?
with this
Dog,
conversation alone.
it's right. And that's another thing. My conscience has expanded since that whole experience.
Yep.
But I'm gonna tell you, man, it's real, man. It's like you draw that to you, man. That the more transparent you are, the more likely you are to draw likeness to you.
Hmm.
You understand what I mean?
I
Because you're
got you.
so transparent, those that fuck with that is going to be drawn to that. Those that don't is going to be repelled against it.
Exactly.
But that's the only way you can draw what's real to you is being real to you. You gotta be real to you to draw what's real to
I
you.
res- I definitely respect that
That's
for
real,
sure.
yeah. So yeah, it's definitely destiny, man. Like it's meant to be. I had no idea you had that similar. Yeah, man. I gotta send you a copy of the book.
Yeah, I was gonna
That's
say,
gonna be my
after
gift.
we get off the
I'm
line,
gonna
I'm gonna
send
get
it
one
to
for
you.
you.
We gonna
Listen,
rap. I'm gonna send it to you. You ain't gotta worry about it. Sign it. It's yours, bro. Real talk. That's real.
so
Man.
I got a question as far as like publishing the book and being a writer and doing things and the process of that. Was that experience different than you thought it would be? Like going into it, like your mind frame of thinking, like this is what I want to do with the book and the idea that I have, and that process of what you thought it would be. How was that in line with how it actually
Well,
became and finished?
well, as far as the whole process of how it's gonna materialize, I had no clue.
Okay.
That was more evidence of God because, or more evidence of like our focus makes things crystallize. So with that, I had no idea. I kept saying, how is this gonna go from on my computer to an actual book? Didn't know. But I did have an idea, a grandiose idea and belief because anytime something come to you so profoundly, you think big. You know what I mean? You're gonna
Hmm.
think, oh my God, this gonna be everybody wanna read it. And then the
Yep.
whole process, oh, people going and it wasn't like that. You just a number.
Okay.
You one among millions. You know what I'm saying? So
Got you.
I didn't really have an idea of how the whole publishing process went. So I learned it, but I also learned the harsh reality of um it's pretty much you, bro.
Hmm.
It's you. It ain't even the content. It's not even the content. It's
Okay.
you first. You is gonna what make people want the content.
Mm.
If they're not feeling you and drawn to you,
Yeah, they're not gonna accept that content. That
they
makes
ain't even
sense.
gonna want to explore the content.
Mm.
And I didn't. I learned that as the way it go. As far as the publishing, the editing process, and all that, like I said, I just learned it. I was open because I didn't have an idea. So,
Okay.
but yeah, but the biggest thing I'd say was different than what I expected was the response and how it would be received. You
Mm.
automatically think when something hit you a certain way, you think the whole world waiting for this shit, and it's
Yeah.
gonna hit the whole world this way. Nah, but it is an audience for everything. And if it hit you, that means it hit millions.
Mm.
It's just getting it out there. That's the
Marketing.
thing.
It's marketing. They're
Marketing.
trying to
Yep.
find out
Yep.
what your audience is and how you can
Yeah.
get them to relate to you. Because there's
Yep.
millions upon billions of people out there. It's like, how do I find those millions? It's almost like finding a needle in a haystack. You know what I mean?
They call it your niche.
Yep.
Your niche. They say your
Yep.
niche. Your niche. Your niche
Mhm.
audience. I'll say this. Um, the publishing process, right? In this climate, in this day and age, it's better to just self-publish
Okay.
because most of the well-established publishing houses,
Hmm.
they want you to come already with everything, just like the music industry has became now.
I got
They
you.
want you to come with everything. They really ain't doing no work. They just want to
Mhm.
profit and partner with you off the
Yep.
momentum, everything you've created.
Hmm.
They're gonna act like they're gonna do something to you. We're gonna distribute you. We're gonna do that. But really, with social media, with these platforms, with
Yep.
everything, you're gonna be doing it yourself anyway.
Mm.
So that's the climate. But the traditional way to get published is getting a literary agent. And
Okay.
with getting a literary agent, it's numbers. You just got to keep putting the queries out, the submission letters, the synopsis. You got to just keep going, keep going. It's a numbers game. And then it's going to be an agent out there that's going to connect to your work. And that's the one that's going to want to sell your work to a publishing house and get your work to a publishing house and publish it. And then they offer you an advance and all this and all that. So that's how the process works traditionally, but we're in a different day. We're in a different day now. So I would
Mm.
tell anybody that's writing and looking to publish, self-publish. Like Kindle Direct Publishing is one of the better ones,
Okay.
but you got so many different outsource because all the publishing houses do is outsource the work. So
Yeah.
they get your manuscript, but they outsource. Well, you can outsource your own work.
Hmm.
I had a graphic designer come up with the cover. You understand what I'm saying? It's
Yep.
gone to editing. They're gonna do the layout, and I'm
Yeah.
going direct. I already got it copywritten at Library of Congress, so you can do everything yourself.
So
So
this
it was.
new book that
Go
I'm
ahead, go
sorry.
ahead.
I was
I'm
gonna
sorry.
say so the new book that you have, you did everything yourself,
I'm doing
self-published everything
everything
yourself.
myself, man, because I got a base.
Independent tip.
I got
Yeah.
a foundation. To be honest with you, for a new author, for a new author, it's hard. Like I did
Yeah.
extremely well for a new author. Like my publishing company, they really benefited off me. They
Yeah.
wasn't expecting some of the places I did book signings. They wasn't expecting the lines. They wasn't expecting the crowds because
Mm.
normally first time authors, you lucky to sell 2 or 3 books at a book
Mm.
signing. And this is statistics. Man,
Wow.
I was selling hundreds of books.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a really good run. Did a lot of internet radio, and I
Yep.
did a national radio. This guy named Stu Taylor. I did his show, and
Okay.
I did a lot of stuff promoting it. But man, like I said, I did good. So with the base that you have, one thing that's gonna always be true, and you and I both know this, that's word of mouth, man. If it's
Sure.
something
Yeah.
good and it's good content, people gonna talk about it.
People gonna talk about it, man. And it's gonna promote itself. Before you know it, one
Promote
person is
itself.
gonna turn into 10 people, 10 to 100,
Mm-hmm.
100 to 1,000. Man, that's what I feel like with this platform. I'm like right
Yep.
now, you know what I mean?
Yep.
It's slowly bubbling, but people appreciate it. I get a
Yep.
lot of people reaching out to me directly, like, "Yo, man,
Yep.
it's a dope platform. We respect what
Yeah.
you're doing." And
Yeah.
people have actually like asked if they can come on my platform. I'm like, damn,
That's
I'm
it.
honored for sure.
That's it.
I'm like,
Yeah.
definitely, man. I
Yeah.
appreciate everybody that
You
just tuned
inspiring
in.
me. Now I gotta I'm gonna transition my podcast to this platform. You're inspiring me, and I like your backdrop, son. So
Thank you. I
that's your
appreciate
city.
it, man.
You New York, right? You New York, right? You
You
was
already
born.
know, man. You already know where I'm
That's
from,
what we
man. New
thought.
York,
Yeah,
man. That's why I got
yeah,
it behind me, man. The city
yeah,
behind me. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
That's what's up. Yeah.
Listen, man. Once we finish this, I'll let you know a little bit of details as far as what it takes to get the podcast started off
Okay.
on the Zoom and get everything
On the Zoom
situated.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
absolutely.
It's not as complicated as you would think it is. It's real.
Okay.
It's real. I mean, it's simple, easy. It's started already. So for
Uh-huh.
sure.
That's
So
what's up. That's what's up.
I was on social media on your Facebook, and man,
Yeah.
to me, I describe you as like a wordsmith. You know what I mean? If
Mm.
I would describe you,
Hold up. A wordsmith calling me a wordsmith. You the wordsmith, bro. And you know before we go, we'll dive into that. But that's an honor, man. So go ahead and finish. Cause
listen, man.
I'm gonna tell you, hold up before I'm gonna stop you. I'm sorry.
Yes,
Why that's
sir.
real? I'm gonna tell you why that's really an honor. You know, they say your favorite rapper, right? Who you rock with in terms of rap says a lot about you, right?
Yep.
And one thing that me and you and I connected with off the rip was our affinity for knives.
Yes, sir.
So the fact that I know the type of shit you like, for you to consider me a wordsmith, I'm on it. I'm blown away, bro. Real talk.
Listen,
I'm
man.
blown away. I'm
I,
blown away.
I
Yeah.
watched I watched the content and the things you put out there as far as like on social media, and I saw a couple of quotes that you put out, and I wanted to like talk to you about it, get your word on like what you were thinking about when you quoted these certain things out, man. So one of them I saw it said my mother's love made women resent me.
Woo.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Wordsmith, man. I'm like,
Yeah.
yo,
Yeah.
that can be taken a lot of different ways, but I wanted to know your thought process behind that one quote there specifically.
Yeah. Dealing with a long term relationship, man. Believe it or not, sometimes people's relationship with their mothers, they feel like they missing something. They're not getting certain things. And then
Hmm.
my mom, I'm her youngest, and she loves me. But then they would have women that I'm seeing resent me because my mother loved me.
Mm,
You understand what I'm saying? They start
okay.
attacking me and weaponizing that as a way of coming at me. You know
Mm,
what I mean?
okay.
And it really was envious. It was kind of envy, you
Mm,
know. But now that's a knock against me. You know, like your mother's boy or you this and you that.
got you.
You know, and now you resenting me because it's hard. Like I'm not gonna submit to the bullshit
Hmm.
because I know what real love feel like.
For sure. Yeah, definitely. I'm comparing love to love, and this ain't what it is. You know what I mean?
I mean, what it is. People think, well, that's your mother's a different kind. Ain't no fucking different kind of love. It's
Hmm.
different ways to express love.
Yep.
So when I express my love for my daughter, it may come via a kiss on the forehead, a hug, a lesson. But when I express my love to my girl, it might come in the form of intimacy. You know what I mean? Might even be sexual relation. You understand? But
Yep.
it's still the same energy.
Got you.
Feel me? Still the
Yep.
same vibration. So it ain't no different. I know what it feel like. You know what I
Got you.
mean?
Yep.
And
Yep.
yeah, and it just it made women resent me, you know?
Mm.
And not just women, but I wanted to specify the women in my life made them resent me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. I never thought about that. Like even like the saying love is love. You know what I mean? Like it's all love, you know what I mean? But you said it's different ways to represent that love. Still the same energy, just different ways to represent it. That's
Yeah.
deep, man. I never thought
Yeah.
about it like that. But damn, that's what's
That's
up, man.
crazy that you picked that
Wordsmith.
out. That's crazy. You picked that one out. That's dope right there, man. That must that must have spoke to you in a certain way. Some stuff you dealing with, bro.
Nothing I'm dealing right now, but I've
Not
definitely
right
felt that.
now. Not right
Yeah.
now. Yeah, but yeah, I
For
know.
sure, for sure. Yeah, definitely. Another one I saw, another one. It says, we are so consumed with selfish ambition. The only way to bring us together is through tragedies. God knows everything, works on behalf of love.
Damn, I can't even remember I said it. Fam, I say so many,
Yep.
so I'm trying. Say it again for me so I can see if I can get
Uh,
in that
it
same
says,
mind.
we're so consumed with selfish ambition. The only way
Yes,
to bring us together is through tragedy. God
yes,
knows everything works on behalf of love.
yes, yes. So in other words, some of these tragedies. So what I
Hmm.
was trying to say with that is, see, a
Hmm.
lot of people struggle with believing that every single thing is working on behalf of love. People will see
Hmm.
horrific things happen, tragedies happen, and say, that ain't love, that ain't hot. I can't see how that's fucking working on behalf of love. It's an ugly world. It's so much this and that and the other. They can't see. Their lens won't allow them to see that it's all working on behalf of love. So what I wanted to say was we so consumed with selfish ambition that we would never come together if not for these tragedies. Because you're too consumed. Just saying like God knows how to bring us together.
Hmm.
Like we so consumed with what we consume with, we would never come together if not for some of these tragedies. So while they look
Okay.
horrific, they're not. It's genius behind it.
I
It
got
pulls
you.
love. It pulls love.
It pulls
It
love in
pulls love
here.
and it pulls us away from just that selfish ambition, that selfish single lens. You know what I mean? Like we got blinders when we only see the shit we want, the
Mm,
material things, stuff like that. So, it's hard sometimes to see unity and love because it's so much selfish ambition. Like it's everybody for themselves. I got mine, get yours,
yeah.
I'm trying to get this, I'm trying to get that. But tragedy strike, what the fuck do we do when something bad happens? It
Mm,
pull that empathy. It pulls it.
yep.
It pulls it. So I guess that's what I was trying to say in that moment. I'll be honest, times I'm quotes, man, or something I write, it hit me
Something you
right there.
feeling, yeah.
Or
Something you
I
feeling in
wake
the
up and
moment.
it's just right in the moment. Yeah, yeah.
And that's how
You
that's an
already know.
example. That's an example of a wordsmith right there, man.
Oh, is
When you
that it?
going through something and you're able to
Yeah,
express that through the words, man. That's deep, man. You
that's
know what I
dope.
mean?
Yeah,
It
that's dope.
touches me personally. I love words. I've done poetry. I've done all different kind of things, man. So
Yeah, I
when it
know.
comes to myself, yeah. So when it comes to myself, man, I definitely
Yeah.
I feel it. It touches me personally, man.
What's your
So
process? Hold up. What's your process like when you write?
So I haven't even written in years, but usually my process is just off the feeling of emotion. I may be going through something in the moment. I may listen to a beat or something that I hear, or even one word. Sometimes one word will inspire me to come with a whole
Mm.
concept. I don't really quote unquote
Damn,
have like a
damn.
process. It's all in the feeling. Like one of my
It's a
boys,
feeling.
AJ, yeah, one of
Mm-hmm.
my boys, AJ, we had happened to talk on the phone one time, and we were talking about vibrations and what vibrations mean, right? So he was like, "Yo, we working on this song called Vibrations." He sent me the beat. I wrote the song in like literally like 15 minutes. It was a
Wow.
feeling. It was just all just flowed. It
Wow.
was it wasn't
Yeah.
even, you know
Yes.
what I mean?
And that's the thing about it. People don't understand, like, you don't think hard. Like, people say to me all the time, you look too deep in this shit. I keep saying, I'm not looking deep into it. Shit's
It's all
just
just
jumping out.
hmm
You understand what I'm saying? But
for
yeah,
sure,
I
for
know you
sure.
know. Yeah, but I ain't mean to cut you, bro. I'm sorry, but go ahead. I had to get that out of you, man. I just wanted to relate to the process to see if it's, any similarity. You
No,
know.
not for sure, man. So being
Yeah.
that we were talking about wordsmiths, and I see that comes from you. How much of hip hop is influenced by what it is that you do? I know we talked about Nas as being one of the main one of your favorite rappers. How much does hip hop come into the influence of what you do?
It's huge. Hip hop influenced my whole life, bro. Real talk.
Mm,
It's the greatest expression. It's the greatest form of me. It ministered to me. It's the greatest form of expression that I've ever became awakened to me.
Yeah.
It was something that, like I said, it made me realize my affinity for words.
Hmm.
Because I never was big on hip hop for the beats. Like, although I love some of the producers and beats that's come along over the years, my main thing I was drawn to was the words, the
Mm.
lyrics, the wordplay. So it inspired everything. Like my first memoir is entitled "Who Else Could It Be But God."
Hmm.
But in all actuality, to me, it's an extension of hip hop. And I know it'd be hard for people to understand because you say God, you think religion. But
Yep.
nah, to me, God is the truth. Hip hop inspires the truth. I even have a quote that I had wrote somewhere. I said, I am the honesty that hip hop inspired, you know?
Mm.
And I'm gonna say that Damian Marley and Nas's album Distant Relative,
Yeah, I love that album.
that actually inspired me to that was another part of the inspiration for me to go ahead and have the courage to write that first memoir and release it.
Oh,
I owe it
wow.
all. I owe it all to the reunion and all that, but I also owe it to that album because when I was going through my conscious was expanding during that time, and I didn't know it was. You don't know when your conscious is expanding. You just
Hmm.
wake up. You just have an awakening
Yep.
to a different lens. So it was happening to me. So my lens was changing. I was having all these spiritual thoughts, and I was having questions. Um, my questions was what came first, what came first, what came first. So
Okay.
I had went all the way back to the first civilization, Kemet, and I'm studying Kemet and stuff like that.
Yep.
You find as much information as I can find. That's the first recorded civilization.
Yep.
So while in the process, I run across Nas and Damian song "Patience." It
Yep.
leaked. It leaked way before the
Oh,
album,
okay. Mm.
and this my word. When anytime I see a Nas something leak is new, I gotta listen. I click on it, and when I heard this song, all the questions that was in my mind, everything that I was exploring, because this is how you get to me. You become awakened. You question things. These dudes was asking questions that I was thinking.
Hmm.
The song made me cry, dog, because it was
Damn.
such confirmation. I sat at my desk listening to that song in my workspace, crying. Not crying
Damn.
boo hoo, just couldn't
Yep.
stop the tears.
Yep.
That album was phenomenal to me. It was
Mm.
because of the time of my life I was in, that space I was in. So hip hop is a major influence over me because it's like I'm constantly trying to push the envelope to speak the truth.
Mm.
And that comes from hip hop.
For sure, man. I never even thought about that, but yeah, that's damn. I know that's a dope album for me. I was actually just listening to the album a couple of days ago because
Yeah.
I always listen to Nas, right? And every time I listen to him, I feel like my favorite Nas album changes. So like right now, the N album might be my favorite Nas album right now. And be honest with you,
It's perfect for this climate. But
yeah,
go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah, 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 yeah. So I was listening to that album the other day and listening to Patience, and yeah, that record for sure. It's a dope project. Like it's just an
It's
incredible project. Like that, it was much
yeah,
needed. It's gonna be timeless. I love Damon Marley, of course. I love Nas, and yeah, man, that's a dope body of work for anybody who has listened to it. Go
right.
check it out,
I
man.
urge everybody. It's a song that got left off the album, but it's part of the album. It's called Ancient People.
Okay.
Get a chance, listen to Ancient People.
Hmm.
We don't understand. A lot of us don't understand that we've surrendered to somebody else's ideas.
Mm.
And their ideas is just an extension of your lineage, your people, which you come from, their ideas. Like
Yeah.
you are a genius. And that
Mm.
album helped me realize that. It's empowering. It speaks to who you are. You understand? Like the last
Yeah.
song, Africa Must Wake Up. That's
Yep.
that's people of a darker hue, period. And he's talking about who you are. You know what I mean? And it's like before they, I like the one line in the ancient people. Before time, you had minutes. Before minutes, you had this. Before you know what I mean? It's trying to
Yeah.
tell you. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't explain. I don't have the words right now. Look, you call me a wordsmith. I don't have the words right now to explain what I'm trying to say. But man, that album is empowering, man. Yeah, it just made me realize what exists inside of me, man. And it gave me the courage to say, and Nas, period, as an artist,
Hmm.
he his body of work, his whole body of work, all the albums, everything listening to him, it inspired me to want to tell the truth. Cause I feel like even if he lying on some shit, I just
Yeah.
feel like this one of the most honest voices in the genre. I really
Okay.
feel that way. Yeah, I really feel that way. So
Yeah, man,
yeah,
that's dope.
to me, hip hop is the truth. That's what it is. Yeah.
I listen, I can't be mad at that, man. Somebody who, you know
Yeah.
what I mean, as somebody who's been a part of it, I
Yeah.
cannot be mad at that, man.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
when it comes to like mental health, I see that's one of the things that's in the forefront right now, which is great. I feel like it's much needed. Have you been to therapy, or do you use what you do as your therapy?
Both. Both. I went to therapy only to realize that I'm the therapist. And I also went to therapy after having an understanding of it. I went to therapy because I'm a person that needs intellectual conversation
Okay,
and I need a sounding board. So the second time I hired a therapist just so I could have some of the conversations I have and not feel alienated and not feel like I'm being judged, like you weird, your head in the clouds. Therapy is good, it's real cathartic. But yeah, to me, a lot of what I do is cathartic as well. It's just keeping myself
mm,
stimulated and occupied. Like your imagination is a beautiful thing, and
hmm,
you have to develop a great relationship with your imagination because this society we live in can kind of lure you and steer you away from your imagination,
got you.
not
Okay,
realizing that's the power. Like, belief,
yep,
imagination is greater than knowledge.
yeah,
It's
definitely.
greater than all. It's greater than facts. It's greater than all that.
Mm,
Even I think Einstein quote, imagination is and the imagination is greater than knowledge or something like that. I can't. I'm
got you
about to
paraphrasing, but yeah, I
misquote
totally
it. Yeah,
understood.
but
Listen,
yeah,
I would agree, man. Imagination is what brings us invention and ideas, right?
yes,
Somebody had to imagine that I could talk to somebody that's not in the same room, right?
yes,
Or I
right,
could turn something on and there could be a light switch that's
right,
turned on. You know what I mean?
right,
I can move the switch and it then
right,
brings electric current to be able to turn a light on.
right,
Or I can make this. I can travel to somewhere faster than I could walk or by train,
yep,
which then created a
yep,
plane, right?
yep,
So I
yep.
cannot be mad at it.
The,
Imagination is very important.
the thing about it, when you really start tapping into it, you have to develop a relationship with it. If you've been
Mm,
programmed like I have, like I've been programmed coming up in my environment. And then because when your imagination get activated and you start having these thoughts come and stuff come that never came before, you can get into a space where you feel weird. Like, what the fuck is wrong with me? What's going on with me? So
that's
it's
what you're saying.
something, this is why therapy and talking to somebody is good,
Hmm.
from a professional standpoint, because they're trained not to judge. And then, sometimes they have insight on this kind of transition that you may be going through. It's also about connecting to the right therapist because every
Mm,
therapist ain't really a therapist.
that's what you're saying.
You
Okay.
feel what I'm saying? Some people
Okay.
just they able to go through school, get the grades, and get the degree. But then there's some people that have a connection because of what they experienced, and that inspired them to want to give back because they have, you know what I mean? They have that testimony, so to speak. So
For sure. Yeah, definitely.
yeah, you got to connect with the right one. But yeah, I think sometimes we need things to help us a little bit understand ourselves because
Mm,
the mind is fragile, but yet it's so powerful. It's
hmm.
such a fine line,
Okay.
and there's a whole lot of potential there. The mind has the ultimate potential because it has the potential of source.
Mm.
So that's something that you can't, that's not to be played with. You understand what I mean?
Yeah, listen, for sure.
It's not to be played with. So we need to have an understanding. We don't, you know what I mean? So it's good. It's good sometimes, man, to be able to get some conversation like that, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Sometimes you need that therapeutic release, man. Sometimes you
Yeah.
have to have
Yeah.
that somebody
Yeah.
that's just there to listen. You can get it out. And
Yeah.
sometimes when it's on the inside, right? It's sometimes it don't sound the same as when you actually actually release it out and you hear it presented on the outside. You're like, oh, okay. You might even get it yourself, but you just need somebody
Right.
to listen so you can complete it and kind of put it together and
Yeah.
pieces together and make it make sense.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. That
So,
go ahead,
uh
go
huh.
ahead, go ahead. I'm
No,
listening.
no, no, no. I was gonna say. So, talk a little bit about the new book. You got the trauma, my love letter to the world. Talk a little
Yeah.
bit about that. How did that? How did this come about?
Well, this what I wanted to do, if it's okay with you.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Because I thought that you may ask me about it. So what I want to do, I'm just going to share the synopsis, and that should give you an idea
Okay.
about the book. The synopsis is short. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So there's the synopsis to it. She saw his affection as aggression. How could she misinterpret his love? He thought his affection was being embraced by her. In the beginning, it was. After 2 nights of intimacy, a beautiful exchange got twisted. He found himself under attack. He couldn't understand what happened. Where was this coming from? Something he thought was consensual was being misrepresented. When you've been a victim of sexual assault, the lines get blurred. It becomes hard to distinguish between force and passion. He was
Mm-hmm.
unaware his passion was a trigger for her trauma. She was still seeing
Mm-hmm.
life through that lens. Clayton was heartbroken. Before the relationship had the chance to start, it came to an end. Tormented by uncertainty and transported into the midst of the events, desperately he searched his thoughts for answers. He couldn't understand why he was being falsely accused. Unable to concentrate on anything else, Clayton's focus led him to a startling revelation. He remembered the conversation the two of them had when she revealed that in the past she was raped. Clayton's love letter to the world is his plea to society. It's a composition designed to encourage us to examine our behavior, to push beyond
Mm-hmm.
the blinders forged against our perceptions, driven by a culture saturated with stress and sexual imagery. He gives accounts of how fear was the first phenomenon to alter his perception, how sexual curiosity led to perversion, perversion led to sexual addiction, how sexual addiction can push a person to commit sexual assault. Despite suffering infliction at the hands of societal stress and sexual misconduct, Clayton reminds us that we're not a product of trauma. We're much more. Through a process of self actualization, we realize our true nature. Discovering our true nature is discovering that we are love. True love is attainable, and love is the way we heal. We have to open up and trust it. That's the synopsis to the book.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. So it's talking about
yeah,
like the traumas through life, sexual
yeah,
experiences, and how
yeah,
some upbringings could then bring some kind of traumas upon us, or how our
yeah,
interaction with other people can bring traumas to other.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
assuming.
Yep. So I got inspired because I got heartbroken. I
Okay.
really felt I really was feeling the young lady, and I was ready to like just really spoil her up and give her my all. And
Hmm.
we shared 2 great nights, and she attacked me, and I couldn't understand what she didn't attack me that night. It was like days went by, and all of a sudden the text message, the temperature changed, and I'm like, what the
Mm,
fuck going on? She broke my heart because she left me with no answers. So I got to search my own mind for the answers, and then I come to the realization talking to another friend. Because what was interesting, I was on the phone with another friend, and she was going through something. I said, I said, Neem, you could talk to me if you need to talk. She said, yeah, I could talk to Jesus. And I said,
mm,
wow, really? At that moment, I felt like she was putting me in a category with everybody else. Like, and the first thing I said when I got off the phone with her, I said, man, we are so fucking damaged that we can't see a good thing when we looking at it. And that's when
mm,
I had the light bulb go off. And it made me know what happened with the other. I said, oh my God, because I had forgot that she told me she was raped. So that's when it all dawned on me. I said, oh my God, she's still seeing life through that lens. So it's a fine line because if you've been raped, can you imagine having sex or trying to be intimate with somebody in the future with our relationship? It's almost impossible for that not to be a trigger
Yeah. Okay.
because that was the source of your trauma.
Mm.
You feel me? So
Damn.
that shit hurt me, man. It hurt me. So I was like, really, like, this book is just my plea. I got one chapter I really go in talking to all men, not to exclude women, but I'm talking to
Yep.
them dudes.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like we ain't doing nothing but hurting ourselves as we hurt our women, because it's gonna be
Yeah.
one. It's gonna come a time, man. This is my word. It's gonna come a time where them fires gonna settle down. You ain't gonna be driven so much by hormones,
Mhm.
and you're gonna want just pure good intimacy. You're gonna want some real shit in your life, real love in your life.
Yep.
And it's gonna be hard to find because every motherfucking thing is damaged. We've
Mm.
been damaged everything. You know what I'm saying? And now we
Yeah.
gotta wait for that healing process to happen. So
Damn,
nah,
that's deep.
it's just my plea to people, man. We gotta stop fucking each other up. We all
Yeah.
play a part in this shit, you
True, for
know?
sure. That whether we
Yeah.
know it or not, whether it's
Yeah.
meant like whether it's intentional or unintentional, you know what I mean? We
Yes.
gotta, yeah, for sure. I feel like our actions bring reactions. So you gotta be
Yeah.
careful of how you act on things
Yeah.
and just how you live life and how you treat
Yeah.
people, how you do people
Yeah.
for sure. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
And you know I got love for you because I've read the synopsis and I haven't given away much of anything in terms of this memoir, and so I
Mhm.
just got love for you. So I read it on your show on
Much
the No Script
appreciated.
podcast, son. So
Much
you know what
appreciated,
I mean.
man.
So
Much appreciated.
all the chatter jump off. People talking about this memoir. Just know I debuted the gist of the story of the memoir right here on your shit, man.
Listen, man. Once you sell 1 million copies, man, I'm gonna release the clip. You know what I'm
That's what
saying?
you do. That's what you do. They monetize it. Hey, bro, do that. That's what you
Yo,
do, man. For real. That's good shit. Mhm.
nah, man, that's dope, man. That's incredible to talk about the trauma because we all go through it, man. Whether we
Yeah,
realize certain triggers or certain things are even trauma or not, man, we
yeah,
all are traumatized in some
yeah,
sort of way,
yeah.
and I'm sure it's going to touch a lot of people, man. If all the viewers and listeners, man, be on the lookout for the book, man. Do we have a date when the book is coming about as far
Not
as being
yet. Not
published? It's
yet.
kind
Just
of just in the
know
beginning.
2021, and it's going to go direct to Kindle Direct Publishing. But I'm definitely going to put out promo stuff. And yeah, and like I say, anybody can follow me on my Instagram, on my Facebook. Find me Clayton Jones, and keep track because I always put it out on my social media stuff. So
Mm.
yeah, but it's gonna be definitely it's definitely a compelling memoir because it's
Yeah,
so
man.
fucking real and it's so raw and it's
It's
everybody. It's everybody. Trust me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. So some of the things I get from you, like you like to use your personal experiences to put those out there in the world. You're not the type to
No,
write off of like fantasy or anything like
no,
that.
I
It's all
can't.
about yeah.
No, I can't. Let me tell you a little quick story, man. With my first memoir, I tried to embellish a little bit.
Okay.
And as I'm writing, no words came. Pen would stop. Couldn't figure out. I'm like, what the fuck? I can't. All of a sudden, I'm like, damn, I don't know what to say. Then guess what? I let go and I said, fuck it. I don't know what made me say fuck it. I said, I just got to write it exactly what it is. When I
Yep.
write the truth, some of the most profound, some of the most profound expressions come. If I try to embellish, I can't. So I'm not a sci-fi, I'm not a fiction story. I'm not gonna be that.
Yeah.
The only thing I can express is my heart. That's it. So for me, some people have that gift that they can, that's just not who I am. So yeah, I can't write anything but from my heart, my personal experience. That's it.
Totally
But
understood. I
but
guess. Listen, man, I respect it.
I realized that the life we walk in and the things we live in, it's a reflection for other people. I realized that. So when you expose yourself, you're exposing other people.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, without whether you realize it or not. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. How
Yeah.
do you feel like the effects of publishing these memoirs that are about yourself has upon you today? So from the beginning point of when you first started to now, how do you feel that has affected you? Whether it's positively,
That's a great.
negatively, like way people may view you now. You know what I'm saying? How do you feel like that's been up until this point?
That's a great question, bro. Real talk. That's a really
Yeah.
good question.
Thank you, man. I do
Um,
this, man. I do this.
yeah,
I'm just
you
messing with you.
do. That's a good. No, that's a good question because that's interesting and that's something people don't really understand. Like, they think it's all like you trying to get attention for yourself. They don't
Yep.
realize the struggle that come with. They don't realize that you giving people your soul. They don't.
Yeah.
They don't really equate it like that. So it takes a lot out of it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
at
I
the
can
same,
imagine.
yeah, but at the same time, it frees you. So that's
Mm.
what's been the greatest thing that's happened with me releasing the memoir, the first memoir, and
Yep.
doing what I do on my platforms and stuff. Freedom, bro. It's freed me.
Mm.
It's so much
It's
freedom.
release therapy.
Yeah, it's so much freedom,
You
man.
know.
So now it's no shame I can live. It's no, people can't say anything to affect. Like right now, I got a video running on YouTube that's like it's almost 200,000 views. These kids are coming on
Wow.
saying the most disrespectful shit to me.
Yeah.
And I'm numb to it, because it's like you elevate. Once you get free, I'm gonna tell you what keeps us from freedom. We holding on to shit.
Mm.
The minute you let go of shit, guess what you do? Your conscience expands. You elevate
Mm.
because ain't nothing holding you down no more.
Yeah.
It's like untying that balloon from the pole. When you let go,
Mm.
you ascend. Once you ascend, you see a broader view. Once you see a broader view, that disrespectful shit
Mm.
becomes real minute. You
Mm.
understand it.
Okay.
You understand it because now you above the ego. You start usurping the ego. And now you see the other people just in their ego. But
Yeah.
it don't touch you. So
I never.
yeah,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. That's
Freedom.
real, man.
Yeah, it's
That's
freedom,
real.
bro.
That's
Yeah.
listen, man.
Yeah.
That's real. I can't. Like I said, that's all I
Yeah.
can say, man. When it comes to that, I kind of feel like you said, it's like a thin line between giving people your all and that release of freedom, man. So how do you balance that from going too far? How do you
I
feel like you
don't.
balance?
I
No, you
don't.
just
It
let it go.
balances itself. It balances itself.
Mm.
If you go along with the flow, if you stay true to yourself and you go with the flow, you trust all your moves. You just trust the flow of life. It balances itself. We gotta do is get the fuck out the way and go for the ride. You don't have to. The more you trying to balance shit, it's out of balance. It's imbalance.
Mm.
Trying to balance it is an extreme. It
Okay.
balances itself. It's almost like getting in the mindset of like a Bruce Lee or somebody. Like when he make the quote, "Be the water." You just go with the flow. It's automatic. Even the human body, like speaking of this climate and everything we dealing with, people don't even realize the human body. Them saying that it's people asymptomatic, they don't
Mm-hmm.
have symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
I challenge that. I believe that's a lie. The
Mm,
human
okay.
body reacts to everything. Any foreign invader, anything, it's going
Mm-hmm.
to react. That's why I struggle with the HIV thing. When they say you ain't got no symptoms, you got it, you only know. The body reacts to everything. So
Mm.
nature works without us trying to make it work. We're just a part of it. You know what I'm saying? We need to
Yeah.
let it work through us instead of us trying to work it. So I don't have to balance anything.
Damn, man. That's why. Listen, that's why I said you're a wordsmith, man. Because you just flow it off and make this shit look easy, man.
Nah,
It's
no. And that's why I made that statement early back in this podcast. Words have a way with me.
yeah, yeah.
I'm not in control of nothing. I don't have to be because I trust this shit. I trust
Yeah.
the process. I don't give a fuck about being in control because I know,
Mm.
you know what I'm saying? I know what I know. You know, I
Yep.
believe what I believe. So,
I
yeah,
got you.
man, that's a good question, T. I'm glad
Much
you
appreciated.
asked.
So I wanted to give the opportunity before we got off to be able to give people how to get in contact with you, your social media, how to get in contact with you via like Facebook or Instagram or
Yeah,
email. How can they
yeah.
reach you?
Man, Facebook is just Clayton Jones. You can find
Mhm.
me on there. You can find my author page, Author Clayton Reed Jones on Facebook. Instagram is CRJ underscore author.
Mhm.
I got a WordPress page, Clayton Reed Jones at WordPress. You can follow my podcast on podbean.com. It's Who You Are Is Okay, or Clayton Reed
Mm.
Jones, CRJ. Um, yeah, and that's pretty much it. YouTube channel, I got one. I don't really want to promote it because I want to dress it up a little bit, but
Man, listen,
man,
I
yep,
appreciate you coming out and joining us on the
yeah,
podcast, man. All my
yeah,
guests here, man. I
yeah,
appreciate you guys for tuning in
yeah.
to No Scripts Podcast, man. I thank y'all for being part of the community.
Yeah, man. Everybody stay true to who you are, man, and trust it.
I
One
like
love, bro.
I like that. One love, man. Take it easy. Peace, bro.
All right, man.